Well, Simon Wilson, last time we met, we had a conversation. I can't remember anything about it. We were in the middle of celebrating winning that magnificent trophy that's behind you here today. It's been a whirlwind few weeks. It's been a wonderful season. Dave Challoner, quite rightly, getting a lot of attention, but goodness me, a lot of people deserve credit, don't they, for what's gone on this year?
Yeah, I think so. I think Dave's probably the first person to say that. I don't think he courts the publicity and the credit, but he's a great front man for what is a big operation. And I think that what we try to do, not just myself, but the players too, have always tried to recognise the efforts of everybody here in terms of the role that they play and the consequence of them doing their job to the best of their ability on everything else. So whether that's making sure that the place is clean and tidy and is sterile, so it's healthy. Whether it's about the food being top notch every single day, the groundsmen that prepare the pitches, the analysts that work so hard on the opposition, finding out different strategies to go and win games, the coaching staff and the medical team and the sports science staff that make sure the players are in top condition, well prepared for every game, and that gives Dave the tools to be able to go and do what he does great, which is prepare teams to go and win football matches. So you're right, it's a huge effort from lots of people, and everybody here at the club, I think this summer is feeling rightly very proud of themselves, and they should do for the great roles that they've played in getting this trophy that sits behind me.
And as well as the people, obviously the infrastructure, the buildings, the facilities, the way that you've set up Carrington was all geared towards success as well. Yeah,
I think it's been a very deliberate play, to try and put all the odds in the players' favour, to make sure that yes, they're talented players, and we try and bring in the best talented players that we can do within our budget, within the ones that are available. But we want to put all the odds in those players' favour, so that they're training on great pitches, that they're eating great food, that they are mingling in spaces, which means that they've got to bump into each other, talk and develop relationships, whether that's a young player just coming through like Ethan Pye, or a senior player that's probably seen and done most things around this level of football in Paddy Madden. So we've got to make sure that it's no good having players like that without experience if they can't share it and utilise it within the group. So yeah, everything that we've done up at Carrington is very deliberate, and we're lucky to have that opportunity to do it. But I think credit where credit's due. We've done a good job on those things, and that has helped put us in a place where we're able to go and operate the way we are.
At the end of the season, it looks comfortable because it's a 6-point gap, and you won the last 2 games, and we were all celebrating those 2 victories, which got us over the line quite comfortably. Yeah. Just prior to that, though, I'm thinking of the defeat at Wrexham, and social media went into meltdown, people starting to worry that we were going to be overtaken. We were momentarily overtaken by the team from North Wales. I'm just wondering what the atmosphere was like within the camp during that period, because you've got a time there where nerves are being shredded a little bit, and you've got a period where people have got to try and keep their heads and keep calm. What was the atmosphere like, and who did you look to during that period? Yeah,
I think we're all human, and I suppose if you think about people like myself who are relatively newcomers, and the players that some of them come from all over the country and different clubs to coming into here, if we were feeling a little bit in terms of we wanted it so bad, we wanted it to get it done. We got ourselves into a great position, and in theory we were in a place where we could go and finish the job early. So it was somewhat frustrating. It was somewhat nervy in terms of going into a situation where the gap between us and Wrexham was getting smaller. And I can only imagine what it felt like for the supporters, because if that's the way we were feeling, and times that to the power of 10 or 100, you can imagine how the supporters were feeling.
I suppose because you've been top we were top for 3.5 months, I think, weren't we? And then there was that 5 days where we were off the top.
Yeah. That said, we probably took the staff, the sort of immediate staff around the football team away probably 2 months before the end of the season, and we had a day away where we did some sort of planning, we did some sort of time away from the training ground. And football, talking about winning in football is a bit of it's sort of a thing you don't do. You don't want to upset the odds, or you don't want to give yourself some bad luck. But we felt like we were talking about, look, we are in a great position. We've got ourselves in a brilliant position. Let's think about the things that have got us here. What are the things that we're doing well? Okay, let's think about the next 2 months. What could go wrong? And we started to scenario plan for different things. And one of the scenarios we talked about was that the form starts to go a little bit, or we have some thunderbolts, we call them, sending offs or bad referee decisions, which has happened this year and last, and happens to every team. And how would we respond about that? And and the strapline that we came about was about consistency in things we do, consistency in our behaviours, managing our own emotions so we don't project onto the players in terms of any nerves or any kind of drama. And I'm really proud of the way that the staff handled that situation, because they were totally consistent. We kept doing the things we had done to get us into that position, and that was Dave's comments to the players, and in fairness to the players responded to that. And did it.
What point was that? You said 2 months, but what sort of lead did we have at the time then? Can you remember where we were in terms of the lead we had over X?
Yeah, no, I can't remember, but I think it was double figures at the time. I think it was double figures, and and again, everyone probably had their fixture list out and thought, oh, this is when it will get done, and this is when it will get done. We were probably quite realistic that we thought, look, we've gone on an unbelievable run. That type of run doesn't happen all the time, so you have to build in some error, if you like, that you're going to come off that, and other teams are going to get stronger. So we were under no illusion that we were going to go and win it by that amount of points. And when we looked at the run of games, and a few of us felt that the scenario that played out would play out, and which was a good exercise for us to do, to say, okay, if this happens, still okay. We're in a good position, we've got control of our own destiny, we've got a lot of opportunity to go and redo it. And if we won the league by 1 point or 10 points, we were said, look, there's no better way of doing it, it's just about winning. So just make sure that we get over the line and make sure we're in front of the opposition.
So I didn't know you'd had that meeting, and I found that really interesting, because towards the end, I did find that the management team, the staff, were actually a lot calmer than anybody else that I spoke to throughout the whole of the club. Yeah,
I totally agree, and credit to them, because I think it was something that we talked about up front, and we brought out every now and again just to say, okay, we sort of captured it on a piece of paper and reverted back to that piece of paper to sort of say, okay, that's what we said, and is that what we're doing, and so on. So, look, we got ourselves into a position where we were able to go and have that meeting,
yes, of course,
because we had that comfort. When it's neck and neck all the way through, you probably don't have that meeting. So, it was an important meeting. I'm glad we did it. But I think, and this is probably club wide, is that our experience this year is going to give us a set of tools and a set of learnings that we'll be able to go and apply in the future. So can we go and play under pressure? Well, I trust this team more to go and play under pressure now, having played the last 3-4 games in front of 10,000 fans with big games, big consequences on them. I know that they can come through that because they've done it. Dave will probably have learned 2 or 3 things about players in the team, which were the ones that actually thrived in that moment and got better and stronger. And that's holds us in good stead for the types of games that we're going to go and face in the future. So, it's been a transformational year in loads of ways. There's things that being in the EFL unlocks that we'll maybe talk about too. But one of the things I'm really interested to see is how this team grows and develops off the back of this success.
One of the difficult sides, I suppose, of your role is saying goodbye to some of those players that got you into this position. And you don't get through a period like that without leaders. And of course, one of our real leaders, our captain, in fact, for promotion was Liam Hogan, and he's now left the football club. What an impact he had during his time at Stockport County. Just talk a little bit about Liam's role in the scheme of things, and the decision as well to let him go.
Sure. No, what a tremendous character, human being, footballer and leader in the dressing room. I think he had an incredible impact. Certainly since Mark and I have come into the football club, Liam was one of the first players we convinced to come on the journey, and we sold the story, and he took it on board, and I think has been a real trailblazer for it. I said in my comments when we talked about him leaving that it didn't matter to Liam actually whether we were at beautiful surroundings at Carrington or on a school pitch on a Tuesday night on an AstroTurf. His standard in the application was always top class, and he was always driving others and trying to get others to join in and meet him at his level. So it was a brilliant signing. We said to him, it was a kind of 2.5 year contract, and in that time we want to have a good stab at getting promoted. Remember, at the time when we signed him, we were still approaching the playoffs in that first season, when the season got cut short through coronavirus, and it took another season and another season to get there. But totally, we sort of sit there saying, job done, mission completed, and Liam, walks away, having done exactly what he came to the football club to do.
He's had quite a boring career, really, because all he does is win promotions, isn't he? He's just a serial promotion winner all the way through. So he's got a fabulous CV to go away with. Yeah,
he has, and I think that's it. I suppose, and it factors into the decision a little bit, is we know that every other National League team would want to have Liam Hogan. He's a huge asset for someone trying to win promotion out of that division, and he's so proven. And Liam would have been fine in terms of coming into our EFL campaign. We wouldn't have a problem with that. But just in terms of our thinking, in a wider sense around this group, is that we are trying to create a team not just for this level but for the level above as well. And the opportunities in League Two, with less relegation places and more promotion places, is it could be a time to blood more younger players, and that's sort of come into our thinking around that decision and other decisions that we'll make this summer.
You have offered contracts, however, to 3 fairly senior players in the squad, and 2 that we know very well in Ben Hinchliffe and Ash Palmer, and of course Miles Hippolyte. What an impact he made in that second half of the season as well. Yeah. Just talk, if you can, Simon, a little bit about the thinking behind offering those 3 new deals to stay.
Yeah, well, I think all 3 of them are deserving of new deals off the back of their performances in the most recent period. We think that, so let's start with Miles. Miles was a player that we had admired, but often you don't really know sometimes until players come into the building exactly how they respond to you and your club. Sort of, in a way, it was like an extended trial for Miles, and just felt like a great fit in terms of athleticism. So he's a fit to our style of play, what Dave wants from players with the ball and without the ball. Good age profile. Obviously, a left-footed player brings a lot of balance. So we actually felt like his profile was pretty unique in the market, and allows us to cover off a number of positions. So Miles is going to be a good signing.
But also, you've got to take some credit as well for yourself and the scouting team, because to pluck a player like that from a team that's really struggling and was struggling and has ultimately paid the price in League Two, that's quite a spot.
Yeah, look, there's good players in every team. I think that and the better ones tend to stand out a lot more when they're in teams that struggle,
possibly.
right? So we felt like Miles was, I suppose it was and again, it was a low risk opportunity in the sense that there was no transfer fee and it was a short-term contract to allow us to go and have a look. So, yes, we were excited about Miles and what we thought he could do. He did better than our expectations. Credit to him, credit to Dave, credit to everyone around the team for allowing that to happen. But good signing, and I think that we look forward to a couple more years with Miles and see how he gets on in this team.
And Ben and Ash as well.
Ben and Ash fully deserving of new deals. I think what both players do is bring a real understated calmness to the group. Which is really important. We want continuity as we go through into the next levels. Now, what we can't guarantee, because neither of them have got heavy playing records in higher divisions, unlike some of the other players in our team, we can't say whether they're going to be ever present, whether they're going to be on the journey forever or what. But certainly they get their opportunity to go and try and stake a place in our team for the next year and obviously see what happens from there.
You mentioned earlier, Simon, about benefits of being in the EFL. There are obviously financial benefits straight away of being promoted.
Yeah.
The consolidation money that comes through is obviously a lot higher. But what other opportunities present themselves because Stockport County is now an EFL club?
Yeah, it unlocks a whole load of benefits, John. It's one of the main things in terms of us. It's 11 years since the club could have an affiliated academy, which means it can protect its young players, which I think is probably the most significant change. And for someone like Andy Cannon, who was in the last time Stockport County had an academy, to help unlock the benefits of being able to do that again, which I think is a beautiful story and something I know that was a big factor in getting him to come to the club. But yeah, I think, in terms of where we want to go and putting this club back in, into the shape it should be in, is an academy is an absolute essential ingredient of that. And so we firstly can register our players all the way from under 9s all the way through up to under 18. We can put them into our training and development program, and we can start to develop a real pathway for young people and players around Stockport. So that's huge for us. We do get some funding to support us with doing that, and we get access to the expertise and training and development that the Premier League provide as part of EPPP. So that's a huge benefit for us. Of course, we get access to different games program as well. So it means that we're able to join in to the League Cup at first round with Premier League teams and Championship teams. So the opportunity for big games again here at Edgeley Park or elsewhere is huge. And even the Papa John's Trophy, which is sort of strangely lucrative in terms of the prize money that's on offer there. Again, it's extra revenue to help support what we're doing, but it's great playing opportunities for maybe some of our younger players, and maybe also the chance to scout sort of other teams of their fringe players or young players at Premier League clubs. So it's these types of opportunities I think that are going to be really, really fruitful for us going back into the EFL.
It's interesting you talk about the academy and that genuine pathway now through to the first team. Sometimes that pathway can be a slightly different one, and Scott Holding is a player who's taken a slightly different route. But you can see again, there's benefits there because I think there's a fee all of a sudden for Scott Holding. Yeah,
so there's been probably 3 good examples coming out of the academy in our non-league period, if you like, since I've been at the club, where just for supporters' information, we can't register any of our young players with Stockport County and protect their transfer rights or their registration rights until they're 18, on their 18th birthday. And just so as it happens, we've had a spate of players that don't turn 18 until almost May or June in their second year. So it's been a real struggle to do that for our best players. But whether it was Jack Inchy in the first year, moving for a 6-figure fee to Brighton, or whether it's Scott moving this year to Watford, again as you say, for a transfer fee. Unfortunately, we've lost one, Josh Edwards, who's going to leave the club free of charge, which is criminal in my mind because of the work that everybody's done and putting into Josh and Josh's family sort of totally acknowledge that, so that he is doing what he's doing because of what Stockport County have put into him. But unfortunately, the way the system is that other league clubs at that moment can take Josh for no compensation because he hasn't signed his professional contract just because he has a late birthday. So that goes away the minute we're promoted, and it just seems, certainly I think that's something that isn't right within the football structure, and other teams that are in the National League that do a great job on that will suffer. I know Halifax have been burnt in the past with it.
Must be awful as well. If teams going down, presumably they're hit the same way, are they?
For 2 years they can retain their academy for the first 2 years, so they are protected for a period. But if they're not promoted back, then they lose that. They become picking fodder for 92 clubs. Which is certainly, if you're running a full-time programme and investing into young players, I just don't think that that's right. But I'm not going to solve that. That's a bigger conversation for another day. And I'm just glad that the first team's success here sort of unlocks a load of potential for probably 200 kids next year from age 9 to 18. So I think that we are now able to sort of correct that. No, not just for compensation rights for Stockport County, but for a genuine pathway for young people and young players around the area. So that's a huge benefit. And going back to Scott, again, we are really proud when Premier League, at that time, Premier League clubs and Championship big clubs come in for our young players. It's a pat on the back for everyone involved. There's coaching staff, but the player mostly. And we're always sad to lose players that we think had a pathway and a genuine opportunity. But again, it's probably a moment for celebration for everybody really. And we're glad that Scott moves on, and we wish him the best of our luck.
And at the other end of the spectrum, presumably promotion to the EFL makes your job in terms of recruitment. The club, it was attractive as a proposition anyway, but it's even more attractive now, isn't it?
It's attractive. Yes, it is attractive, and it brings the positive of being attractive and also the negatives of being attractive. I think
too many phone calls and too many agents.
Yeah, exactly. I think we've just linked with everything at the moment. That's what I'm finding, and you want to be respectful and professional in your job and want to get back to every single person, but there's a lot of stuff we've been linked in which has no truth in it at all, and it's quite funny to sort of watch it. But at the same time, for players that we have had as targets for a while, it certainly helps to be a league club with a genuine chance of further promotions to sell that story in. So, I'm excited about what we can do in the summer. But we certainly won't be rushing into anything that we don't feel is of genuine quality and an upgrade on the players that we've already got at the moment.
Had you already, I'm guessing the answer is yes, but had you already got a plan of who you would target to bring in the event of promotion or the event of staying in the National League? Had you got sort of two sets of plans? There is. You're right. There's a. I'll probably say it's a plan A and a plan A plus, because I think we've been very lucky in the sense that, like, infrastructure wise and the size of the club and the appeal of the club is that we can recruit players from the league. I think what we've tried to do is by going into the league, and again with that genuine chance of promotion, not just because of we're a great team, but because there's more promotion places up for grabs in this league. It means that people get quite excited about the story, and it means that we can maybe reach players that are considering clubs that are already at higher positions than County right now, but looking a year, 2 years down the line, that might not be the case. So we want to be ambitious about that. Like I said, if we want to bring players in, we'd rather bring quality in than quantity. We still believe in a title-winning team here. We've got a team of champions here, which certainly think can be more than competitive in the next division. If we can supplement that by genuine quality on top of that, then we will do, and we hope that will raise everybody's game to take the team to a new level. And just finally, Sam, I know I've only just been promoted, but Mark Stock did come in with this ambition to reach the Championship in 7 years, and I was looking at the bookies odds just this morning, and we've been installed as one of the favourites already to get promoted out of League Two. What are your realistic targets? What do you hope we can achieve next season? Yeah,
promotion. We're not we haven't done all this to become a League Two club. We're with full respect to League Two. And we don't think it's going to be a walk in the park, but we're going to go and attack it and try and win it. We've now built a team that we think knows how to win. We've got an infrastructure and environment that puts all the odds in our favour against winning. It's our responsibility to go and attack the competition and see how far we can get. And I think we're certainly in the initial phase, we're a really exciting and dangerous opponent for anybody. I don't think anyone would fancy playing here or playing against us. And I don't think there is an expectation for us to go and win the league, but I think that like I said, I think that we become a really dangerous opponent, and I quite like that position for us. I think that we'll go and get after it. We'll be relentless. The way that we play, we won't give teams a minute to breathe. And if we're not going to be the champions, or we're not going to be promoted at the end of it, there better be 3 or 4 better teams than us. That's what I'd say. So no, we're going to go after it, and I really believe that this staff, this group of players, and hopefully if we get the additions that we're targeting, we'll have a really, really good chance of doing that. It's all pretty quiet around here at the moment, but it sounds like for you, you're heading into arguably your busiest period now. Are you going to get a break at all, or is this the busiest period? It's the busiest period. It's the busiest period because now we've got a defined end point as well with the close of the transfer window. And I'd like to think that my job's not just about signing players, but it is a heavy part of it, and probably I do take the lead on those things. So yeah, I think I was explaining to somebody earlier today, if you've got 3 targets, you've probably got 3 backup options, so that's 9. And and then you start to look at the if, buts, and maybes, or maybe take this young player, or there's a senior player that can add some experience, and so it just grows and grows and grows. So we're probably looking at 25 different profiles at the moment that we're keeping those situations in the air and staying close to, which is and you've got to keep Mark updated and Dave updated, and everyone's got inputs and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff going on. It is a hive of activity. Plus there are all the administration to turn the academy from a commercial academy, if you like, into an EFL accredited academy. Carrington will continue, to need the toilets fixing and the walls painting and so on. So, whilst everyone else is on holiday, that's what I'm up to. But, I take quite a lot of satisfaction that, it's busy for me now, but at some point, all of the stuff will be in place, and then we just go back to business as usual, and the coaches take hold of the players, they get them on the training field, and we try and form a team that can be as strong and as competitive as we had last year. And at some point I will be able to sit back and look at what we've got and hopefully feel proud about the job that we've all done.
Absolutely, and I hope you can enjoy it. I hope you get a chance to do that. And I know nobody's probably said it yet, but congratulations on winning that magnificent trophy behind you.
I appreciate it, John.
Absolutely
It was,
brilliant.
it was a
And
brilliant.
thanks for your insight all season as well. We've enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Top man.
Take care.
Thank you, Simon.